Welcome. So in today's video, we're going to have a compilation of different tools around the garage that you'd normally find. We're going to do rust removal on those. Shout out to my neighbor Jim, who loaned me some of the tools out of his barn that are nice and weathered. But what you'll see is in these videos, as you're cleaning some of this heavy rust, what I've looked up and found is that black layer you see left behind is called black oxide or magnetite. And what it is, it's a layer that forms when the thermal energy from the laser changes the chemical composition of the rust, but doesn't fully ablate it or vaporize it. I didn't know if it was something that I was doing wrong, if the settings I didn't have right on the laser. And so I've been doing a lot of research and kind of watching other people's videos and seeing if they're having the same kind of results. Because a lot of the videos I see, it just like the rust vanishes and it leaves a pristine surface. And that's not the results that I'm having. But as I looked closer and saw more items that were closer to what I'm working with, which have been sitting outside for quite some time, I start noticing that I think that it's not something I'm doing wrong, but rather that's just what it is. It's black oxide. I think really the only way to kind of remove it once you got to the point that everything the laser can do has done is, say, a wire wheel on a bench grinder, or you could throw, say, like a wire wheel like this on your drill to hit some smaller areas. So if that's the results you're getting, it's not necessarily anything that you're doing wrong. What I'm using is a 300 watt pulse laser. I got it from the company LME Laser Company out of China, where they're all from. It came with no instructions. Everything's just kind of figure it out. And so the interface on my screen has, I believe, 8 different settings as far as different material types, be it rust or mold or paint or oil. But what I've noticed is they didn't do anything in those settings. All they changed was the swing pattern. So every one of those settings, regardless if it's set for wood or rust removal, is at 20 kilohertz and 500 nanoseconds for the width, the pulse width. So no matter what setting you go through, you end up with the same, basically, power that you use to clean it, which is your frequency, which is in kilohertz, and your pulse width, which is essentially how long that pulse stays in that spot, which is measured in nanoseconds. So 500 nanoseconds, I believe, is the highest setting, which means it stays on there the longest. Dropping down to, say, if you were working on wood, you might want to go to a higher kilohertz and a lower pulse width, so that it's a little more gentle on the surface that you're cleaning. For example, most of what you're going to see today on these different tools, I'm kind of experimenting, and I'm putting usually somewhere between 20 and 50 kilohertz and 350 to 500 nanoseconds for the pulse width. It's supposed to, from the research that I've done, is kind of the area you want to be in for the rust removal. In the future, I'm going to try and take a picture of the actual screen of the machine so that other people can see exactly what settings I'm using and what kind of results I'm getting. So I'm going to try and do that. I've done that in one of the other videos that I took a picture of the different settings as I change things. I don't know if I have the pictures of all the settings of what I did today on these items, but in the future I'm going to try and make a habit of getting a picture of that setting, so folks that are new to it or might be struggling can see kind of where I have the settings. Not that I'm not struggling. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm still trying to find items from neighbors and friends that I can use to clean to kind of practice on. I did find out that if you're cleaning wood, it's got to be an oil-based stain. The water-based stains, not much is going to happen. I don't know if it's visible in here, but here's where I kind of played on this. So if you get a job where you need to do some kind of stain removal off of wood, if it's water-based, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to find out whether it's water-based or oil-based. If it's oil-based, which I haven't had a chance to do yet, it's supposed to be a lot easier coming off. Water-based, it just gets too deep into the wood, and there's not much you can do. So we'll get to that sometime in the future. But that's enough rambling. We'll move on, get into the video. Shout out to Patty and Mary and Keith that I know are some of my first subscribers. Enjoy the video. If you get any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below. I'll try and answer them, but I'm really learning as I'm going. Thanks. All right, let's see how this carpenter square comes out. As you can see, it's a vast improvement of what it was. All right, let's take a closer look at it, and then we'll try and do the rest of it with a different pattern. You can see, removed a lot of the rust to the point that we can actually read it again. But where the surface is damaged from the rust, that still remains. We'll be right back and we'll see it with a different pattern. All right, here we go. We'll try it with the, it's called a screw pattern. As you can see, that did well also. But where the surface is damaged, there's nothing the laser can do to save it. So we'll try one last pattern for this last section. All right, here we go. This is the infinity pattern. This is one of my favorite swing patterns. It just does a great job. You can see that did a fantastic job on it. Came out looking really nice. So there you have it. 3 different swing patterns. The results are all the same. It removes the rust. If this surface is damaged, that's how it's going to stay. I think it did really well. You could actually, before it was unreadable. Now at least you can read your measurements on it. There was our before. Very hard to read the measurement markings. There's your after. Not perfect, but a world of difference. Alrighty, let's see what else we're going to clean. All right, let's see how we do on this old hammer. Now we'll see how it does on the wood. Look at the wood, you can see all of the grime and dirt that has been pushed into the wood surface. As you can see, it lightened up that wood, removed all the dirt and grime out of it. There you go. Came out pretty good. All right, here we have some vintage snips, tin snips possibly. What's nice with the laser is basically if you can see it, you can clean it. So it's not a problem to get into these tight little spaces on different objects. So as you can see, it removed all of the rust. Or after. We'll keep working on it, get it all cleaned up on both sides. Take a look at the finished product.